Alright, hey, welcome back, guys. In this video, I'm going to be talking about where our American players ended up in the European leagues. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the 5 players who made the Champions League knockout stages. Alright, and those 5 Americans who are in the Champions League knockout stages are going to be Weston McKennie, Christian Pulisic, Brendan Aronson, Timothy Weah, and Zach Steffen. Weston McKennie and Christian Pulisic actually came from the same group, as well as Brendan Aronson and Timothy Weah also came from their own group, while they knocked out John Brooks in the process. So starting off with Weston McKennie, they were able to beat Chelsea. As a Chelsea fan, it did hurt. It went into the last game of the table where Chelsea, all they needed to do was beat Zenit, and they would have topped the group and been a seeded team for the draw. However, Christian Pulisic came on in the 65th minute, and in the 85th minute of that game, he actually got a go-ahead assist to Timo Werner. That put him up 3-2. However, in the 94th minute, they let Zenit score a goal that hit the top of the roof, and it let Juventus climb over them in the table, which put Chelsea as the second seed and Juventus as the first seed in that group. And then we have Brendan Aronson and Timothy Weah. Timothy Weah and Lille topped that group over RB Salzburg, giving them the seeded draw, and Brendan Aronson and Salzburg the unseeded draw. Then we have Zach Steffen and Man City. Zach Steffen only played 1 game in the group stage, but I do expect to see him hopefully get to play in these knockout stages, as he does kind of seem like he's a cup keeper. He doesn't really play in the league, but he'll play in like the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, and all that kind of stuff. And with their draw that we'll go ahead and get to in a minute, I do think that they might let him play at least one of the 2 legs. Alright, so getting into the Champions League draw, for those of you who don't know, they actually had to do 2 draws, as the first one, a lot of teams protested as they pulled Man United when they shouldn't have, and then it caused them to pull another team, and it kind of just messed up the whole draw. So this is actually the second draw, and so here we see Brendan Aronson and RB Salzburg are going to be playing against Bayern Munich. This is going to be a big hill to climb for Brendan Aronson and RB Salzburg, as this is the first time that that team has made the round of 16 in the Champions League, and they're going against what could possibly be maybe the best team in the Champions League right now, talent-wise. Their team value-wise is just so much better than RB Salzburg. They have Lewandowski, who is one of the top goal scorers, probably will be the top goal scorer at the end of the season this year. And I don't think Brendan Aronson is going to be able to win this game. Hopefully he should probably be in the squad, playing maybe every minute of these 2 legs, where he can maybe get a goal or an assist or just some kind of result against Bayern Munich. Next we have Christian Pulisic and Chelsea, who are actually going against Timothy Weah and Lille. This was probably the best draw that Chelsea could have gotten, which they actually got twice. I believe they're the only team who in that first draw they drew Lille, and then in the second redraw they actually also drew Lille. So both times Christian Pulisic and Timothy Weah were bound to face. So in this game, as a Chelsea fan, unbiasedly, I still think that Chelsea should probably win this game. I think maybe Lille is able to work a tie when they're at home, but I do think Chelsea should be able to win over these 2 legs, hopefully winning both. So that'll see Timothy Weah knocked out, and then Christian Pulisic, hopefully he gets some minutes in Chelsea. These games are going to be in February to start, so by then, if Christian Pulisic can stay healthy and he's still at Chelsea, I think he'll be getting some minutes in this head-to-head against Lille. And then next we have Weston McKennie, who represents Juve, and they drew against Villarreal. This one honestly is a toss-up. I don't know what Villarreal is really doing this year in La Liga, and I know Juventus is not really what they used to be. They just drew against Venezia this past weekend, and Busio and Tanner Tessman. Now Weston McKennie is hurt, but by the time this game goes on, McKennie should be healthy. I do think just Juventus, and I know they're slacking, but I do believe that Juventus is going to win this one like Chelsea. I think maybe they draw away, but I do expect them to win at home, hopefully get their act together by February, and so I think Weston McKennie will be moving on. And then next we have Man City and Steffen against Sporting CP. I just believe the stature of Man City. They are winning the Premier League right now, which is by far a better league than the Portuguese league that Sporting plays at. Right now Sporting is tied on points with FC Porto in the Portuguese league for top of the table. I do believe Man City should be able to get this one done over the 2 legs. They should probably win by 2-3 goals at the least to be able to beat Sporting CP and go into the round of 8. Alright, so now moving on to the Europa League, this is actually 24 teams left as they drop the bottom 8 from the Champions League, or sorry, not the bottom 8, but the teams that come 3rd place in the Champions League drop into the Europa League, as well as the 6 teams that were already in the Europa League that won or came 2nd in their group, and so those 3rd place teams from the Champions League will play against the 2nd place teams in the tables of the Europa League, and then those teams will go ahead and play against the 1st seeded teams in those Europa League. So moving down, we had Serginho Dest from Barcelona, Giovanni Reyna from Dortmund, and Tyler Adams from RB Leipzig. As well as we had DeAndre Yedlin from Galatasaray and Timothy Chandler from Frankfurt. And now Timothy Chandler and DeAndre Yedlin were both 1st place in their tables, so they will be getting a bye. But Serginho Dest, Barcelona, Giovanni Reyna, Tyler Adams will have a game. So let's go ahead and get into that. So here we have Giovanni Reyna and Dortmund will be playing against Rangers FC, who currently sit in top of the Scottish Premier League. I do believe Dortmund with Reyna, Holland, they definitely have the ability to beat Rangers by a good 4 or 5 goals if they even play their starters. This might be one that they kind of rest some of the guys for their league and focus on that. I do believe Reyna should be back healthy, fit, hopefully playing in both of the leagues against both of the legs against Rangers, sorry. And then we have Tyler Adams, who will represent RB Leipzig. They will be going against Real Sociedad. This one will be a lot closer, I think, as the La Liga gives a lot more talent as to the German league. And I know RB Leipzig are kind of in a crisis right now, which hopefully by February they can figure that out. Tyler Adams does look like he could maybe force a move. I know Man United just got their new assistant coach, so he might follow one of his old coaches back from when he played at New York Red Bulls there. But just focus on if Tyler Adams does stay and he is against Real Sociedad in their crisis right now. I actually think that this might be one that he loses, and I think if things stayed the same right now, they're in their crisis. Tyler Adams isn't even really getting the playing time right now that he used to. I think Real Sociedad is going to move on and go to the next round. And then next we have Serginho Dest and Barcelona against Napoli. Now this is probably the most competitive game in all of the Europa League, the 24 teams that are on right now. So Barcelona, Napoli. Barcelona obviously not what they used to be. They're struggling, I believe right now they're in 8th of La Liga, which is not Barcelona, but everyone knows they're in their crisis right now. $1.5 billion in debt. They're going to have to offload a lot of players like Dest, which is what a lot of people are saying now that they have their new coach, Avi. A lot of people are saying he doesn't like Dest's performance, which is fair, but they also talked about improving his tactical load, which means I still think that they have a lot of faith in him. He apparently didn't impress Yavi in his Champions League game last week, but I do think Barcelona figures this one out and they get one up on Napoli. I think by February, they offload some of the toxicity on the team. Even if Dest does leave, I'm fine with that. He can go wherever he needs to go to get playing time and just develop as a young right back. But I do actually believe that Barcelona is going to be able to beat Napoli. Maybe that's just history that I believe in, but I know Barcelona at the current stage is probably not better than Napoli, but by then I think Barcelona will have the capabilities to beat Napoli. And then moving on, we have Timothy Chandler and DeAndre Yedlin. They're both going to be on bye, so they're going to be in that round of 16 and not be playing in those mid-late February games. Then moving on to the Europa Conference League, we have Richard Ledesma, who's coming back from a year-long injury. He is still young, but he'll be playing with PSV. Then we have Conrad De La Fuente from Marseille, and Brian Reynolds from Roma, and Cameron Carter-Vickers from Celtic.
And so here is their matchup. So we will see Richard Ledesma and PSV playing. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Y'all see it on the screen. But it's a team from Israel, I believe. Richard Ledesma, looks like the coaches are already trying to bring him in as soon as he gets healthy. So I think by February, Richard Ledesma is going to be playing in these legs, trying to get him to compete. This should be an easy one for them. So I don't see why you don't let one of your younger guys who's coming back from an injury get some minutes in these games. Then we have Conrad de la Fuente and Martial, who will be playing Qarabag again. Qarabag is a team, I don't even know the country. It's Azerbaijan Premier League. I definitely butchered that, but again, they're in kind of a no name league, and I do believe Martial and Conrad de la Fuente should be able to beat them. Like with Richard Ledesma, Conrad de la Fuente is a young guy, and I believe that they would want to be giving him playing time in one of these European competitions that don't really mean too much, but they should be able to win even with a younger set of guys. Then we have Cameron Carter-Vickers, who represents Celtic from the Scottish League, against Bodo/Glimt. I'm not really sure if I said that name right. Again, these Conference League has a lot of no-name teams, which should be good for our players as they're all on known teams and good leagues, and they should be able to win. But Cameron Carter-Vickers has actually been having a breakout season now that he's moved to Celtic and kind of gotten away from the Premier League where he wasn't able to get a whole lot of playing time. But he's actually the top-rated defender in all of Scotland in their Premier League, which is huge for him. That could see him maybe get a spot with USMNT in our next window for World Cup qualifying. He could be one of those center back spots, which I actually, off of what Greg Berhalter says and going off of straight form, I do believe that Cameron Carter-Vickers will be called up. But getting into this game, Celtic, second place in the Scottish League, I believe right now against, like I said, this no-name team. Celtic should be moving on into their own round of 16, as the Europa Conference League acts like the Europa League, where the third-place teams in each of those tables will drop down into the Conference League. Brian Reynolds and Roma will have a bye as they won their group. I would really love to see Brian Reynolds get out of this club in AS Roma, as they've hired Mourinho, who is known to not want to work with youngsters, and he's actually kind of talked bad on the youngsters as well as Brian Reynolds himself. So I don't see him getting any playing time here if he sticks here. I think his best bet is to maybe even move back to MLS or a lower league in Europe and start getting more playing time as he can develop, and he is a younger player. If he wants any shot to stay with the USMNT and get more call-ups, which I think he has the potential to do, he definitely needs to get out of Roma.
Thank you all so much for watching this video until the end. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and leave a comment for who you're rooting for in the Champions League. But with that being said, let's go, you Blues!